And I'd like to just acknowledge my co-organisers today, James Carino at Federation University Australia, Josephine McMurray and Anne-Marie Levy from Wilfrid Laurier University, and their colleagues who've been most helpful in putting today's event together. The event came out of a meeting of the Ageing Workforce Interest Group over a year ago, and the event's been nearly a year in the playing with multiple meetings. And I must acknowledge the support of GSA, who's done a fabulous job. And we have Gina Schoen from GSA sitting in the background today, keeping an eye on everything. So thank you again, Gina. We've got quite a tight agenda for today. We only have an hour, and we've had multiple discussions about what we should do. Should we have more or less? And we've decided to go with the less model, expecting that we might have quite a large turnout today, and planning for quite a large turnout. So we didn't want to do too much, and we're hoping that today's event will provide an opportunity for us to come together and to work together. So that's really what I'm hoping for, aspiring for today. So, but in a few moments, we're going to talk about your goals, our goals for today, and hopefully thinking forward how we might collaborate together. Depending on the numbers, and the numbers are going up, we're going to move into breakout groups, and where you can meet with each other and talk in more detail. Then we're going to come back and have a plenary session and discuss future steps. We want to go out into breakout rooms if the numbers are quite large, because otherwise we're never going to get through the discussion. So we'll split apart for a short while and then come back together. So Anne-Marie, can you move on to the next slide? So what we thought we'd do is have a poll of what your interests are. So why are you interested in employment and workplace issues related to people with mild cognitive impairment or early onset dementia? So we'd like you to respond to a poll that you can see in red there, polev.com/Josephine MCM 260, or you can send a text message to Josephine MCM 260 to 22333 and wants to join. So if you want to participate in that poll now, you may, and we'll just wait a few moments while you do that. If Josephine is there anything that you'd like to add, Josephine?
No, actually, I should be sharing my screen at this point, and if I'm not, perhaps if somebody can let me.
You are.
Okay, good. Okay, so you can actually see the information on how to access the poll, and so if you'd like to go in and just put in a few quick words, you'll have an opportunity in the breakout rooms to get into this a little more. And so just a few words about why you're here today.
Josephine or Anne-Marie, could you send out a link to the poll in the chat? That way people can just click on it.
Yeah, we will. Just 2 seconds here. I will do just that, Jen.
Thank you.
It's in there.
Thank you.
Or my computer froze.
Yes, there's somebody, I'm not sure who that was Anne-Marie or Josephine, but if somebody can send out that link, that's a great idea. Thank you.
And thank you for sharing these. This is terrific. And we'll
Yes,
make
great. Thank you very much.
information available to everybody who's in the room as well.
So just give it a few more moments if anyone would like to add anything. These are fantastic. Thank you very much.
And just to encourage, even if you're not doing research in your area, you're just in here to sort of, learn more, that's also really terrific. Awesome. So Emery, take over whenever you like, and we'll make sure that these are made available to people after the.
Thank you, Josephine.
There you go.
Okay, maybe can we move on to the other screen? The other, I mean the other slide. So I think we share your goals in being here today. We're interested in identifying opportunities. We're interested in meeting others active in the space. We're interested in sharing knowledge and identifying areas of mutual interest. Finding out what others are doing in this space. We've been active for quite a while, and looking at the list of participants today, there are some familiar names there. We're really keen to find out what you're doing, and hopefully we can identify mutual interests. So perhaps we can move on from that slide, Anne-Marie. So I can't see the numbers, but at this point, what we'll do is we'll move out into breakout rooms, and we're going to do this randomly. You'll be randomly allocated to a breakout room. So Anne-Marie, do you want to explain something about the process?
Yeah, no, just give me 1 second and I will be reassigning a couple of rooms, and in a minute you'll be sent out to your room for about 20 minutes.
Okay, and we have a slide with what we want them to talk about?
Yes, everyone's got a side to go through that.
Okay.
So we just have one more addition, new addition. Give me 2 seconds here.
Sure.
There we go. All right, you're going to be sent to your room now.
Thank you very much, Anne-Marie.
Thanks.
And you have a window coming up on your screen that says join breakout room.
Hi, are you guys having any issues moving to your breakout rooms? Hi, Maria, can you hear me? Hi, Maria, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Hi, you just missed the intro to the seminar, and we've just moved everyone into breakout rooms to just have quick little discussions about why you're interested in this topic, what you hope to get out of the webinar. So would you mind if I just sent you to a breakout room to chat with a smaller group?
Sure, that's fine. Thank you. I appreciate it.
No, no worries. Give me 2 seconds here. There you go. You should receive an invitation to go to the second breakout room. Maria Victoria, are you having any issues with connecting?
Or we're coming back now.
Yay.
Hi, everyone. I am Marie.
Hi.
Are we coming? Is everyone back now?
They should be all returning by now. Yeah.
Right, that's fantastic. Well, we had in the group I was in, we had a great discussion. I think that we could have gone on for rather longer, but it was relatively short and sweet. And I think the spirit of today, which is really just getting to know one another, I think it was a good thing that we kept it short and sweet. So what we have now for the next few minutes is an opportunity to have a report back, and we have rapporteurs in each group. So where shall we begin? What about Anne-Marie? Do you want to do that, or maybe I was just going to say Logan in our group could maybe start us off.
Great.
Absolutely, I can. Yeah, we had a great discussion. A lot of it was actually, I mean, focused on, of course, the employer perspective and what we can do to kind of accommodate employers to help those with dementia at work. We talked a lot about Carol Ma's research and how the situation in Singapore is kind of different from ours, but still, you know, they're working together to try to raise awareness of the early onset dementia and using business centers as a platform to talk about different aging issues with a special interest at early onset dementia. The general consensus was that we were trying to look at what other countries were doing differently, and obviously opening the door for potential research in the future. And pretty much, we also did talk about the fuller working lives in the aging workforce and how different governments have different agendas with how they want to approach extending the retirement age. But yeah, the consensus was basically just kind of a back and forth, like what can we do, and trying to see what kind of elements we can gather, whether legal, personal, financial, or business would be to kind of ameliorate these challenges.
Thank you very much, Logan. Shall we hand over to one of the other rapporteurs?
James, do you want to report back for our group?
Yeah, sure. It was very interesting discussion in my group. I picked up on that we had people who are at different stages of really exploring this situation. So people are just sort of starting, getting a grant, looking at it from a racial perspective, which is quite interesting because, you know, another form of discrimination layered on top of the discrimination of dementia itself and the stigma of it. So, you know, very, very worthy and important. There was also just the issue of how older people are discriminated against in the workplace, and you know, that sort of last period of work, and how that sort of discrimination plays out, and also just how maybe it's possible to change the workplace to help people to stay at work. And so, you know, in a way, it was the same thing, but just different facets of that story, which was really nice. And just interested in connecting and collaborating and working together. So I thought that was really positive and very, very interesting to see that kind of similarity there.
Thanks, James. And one of the other rapporteurs.
I could do a quick summary of what we talked about. So the majority of our discussion at the beginning kind of talked about the disclosure aspect of these participants and how they disclose, because some of them do choose to disclose and then some of them don't, and kind of the decision between those two and what might affect that decision. And then the other aspect that we talked about was the information not being available to smaller and medium-sized businesses related to just cognitive impairments in general, and what they can do if one of their employees have a cognitive impairment, or even just general knowledge about cognitive impairments. There's no knowledge for the businesses, and they're finding it difficult to understand how to navigate these experiences as an employer, and then for their employees as well.
Lucy, thank you very much, and thank you, James. Is that it for our breakout rooms, Anne-Marie? Because I don't actually know how many breakout rooms there were, but I'm imagining.
Yep, we had 3 breakout rooms. So now we have up to 7 or 8 minutes now just to open it up to the floor and ask questions and bring up topics.
Yeah, so I think that takes us on then, thanks Anne-Marie, that takes us on to a discussion about next steps and what we might want to do together going forward. And I just at this point mentioned that we did have a significant amount of interest in the event. So we'll be following up with all those registered, I hope. As well as those who actually attended. So the issue then is, what next? What do we want to do with this? So perhaps you could respond to the poll again.
The same link as you saw originally.
And you should be able to see that there, some of you at least. So I'll just give you a few moments to respond to that.
Josephine, do you want to take over the screen share?
Yeah.
Can't hear you.
Josephine's going to take over, yeah? Is that what you said, Anne-Marie?
Yeah.
Sorry, can you not see my screen right now?
No, I have to let me.
Oh my gosh. Okay. No, I apologize. I went to take over the screen and
Try again.
being shared. Yep, there it goes. How about that?
All good.
Oop. This is fantastic, Josephine. I've never seen anything like it. It's marvelous. So, well, the votes are in, and international network is winning by far. And I think it's, you know, even in the brief conversation that we've had today, it's been really exciting to hear what people are doing, and I think we must continue this network and grow this network and look, see. Josephine, you've switched off. You've gone off screen share.
Just a moment.
So I think it's clear that there's an appetite for us to develop this network some more. So that's fantastic to hear. And I think that for us, and the reason why Josephine, Anne-Marie and their colleagues and ourselves in Australia connected was that we want to develop joint research projects together. And it would be great to draw more of you into that as well. That would be fantastic. And so linked to that, obviously, joint grant applications. So it'd be great to explore that with you. And rather less popular, but I think interesting, is the research industry events and collaborations. And I think all of these things tie in. So perhaps you could stop sharing that, Josephine. We'll go back to maybe the next step slide. So maybe just opening up to the floor for the remaining few minutes. Has this sparked ideas with any of you? Do you have any immediate thoughts about what we might do next as a group? Any burning observations or comments that anyone would like to make at this point?
Can you, you've got some suggestions about upcoming opportunities. Would love to get that link about the listserv. I'm presenting at the Canadian Association on Gerontology this week. It's huge. You might all want to look at our conference. I assume Gerontological Association of America is something similar to the Canadian Association on Gerontology. It's like a big scientific organization. Can you send us that slide or the links in the slide so we can do those things?
I'm sure we can do that.
For sure, we can. Absolutely, Margaret. We'll make sure that everybody that we have an email address for will shoot this out to them.
Great.
Yeah, yeah, and I think
Next
through our
steps.
various networks, I'm imagining that we all have quite strong links to the learned societies in our respective countries. So although I have an association with GSA in the USA, I'm also associated with the Australian Association of Gerontology. And also I'm guessing that there might be people who have a relationship with the British Society of Gerontology, BSG.
It'd be great to hear about the other national organizations, since all the conferences now are virtual and it's a lot easier to attend an international conference outside your own country.
Quite so, Margaret. I think that's an important point. So thanks for that. Did anyone else want to come in with anything, anything else they'd like to add?
I just wanted, I wanted to encourage people. I'm just thinking how we can generate ideas, because there's obviously an interest in some joint research potentially. It's how do we sort of generate some of those topics so people can start to form into possible discussion groups and so on. You know, is it through the listserv, or what is a good way of doing that? Or is that something we could spend time now generating a few issues? Because I mean, in the group we were in, Louise, Richie, you were explaining an interesting new project that's starting with career services and some of the initiatives that you've led, because Scotland has obviously been leading the way in some of these things. Like, you know, how do we, there's obviously an element of sharing some of good practice and examples from other places and initiatives, but also how do we identify the new research that we could do? So I
wonder if I could, Arlene, that's such an important point. And I'm just wondering if I could, you know, at this early stage, if we could encourage the people to join the listserv, and then, you know, people could post work that's coming up. They could post a little bio if they're interested in connecting with people who might, you know, be interested in their particular skills with respect to research or whatever. So I'm just wondering if that's a good general place to start, and then people can sort of branch off from there. And it will make sure that everybody is, you know, you're spreading the word as much as you possibly can. And we'll continue to enlarge that group so that, you know, it gets broader, if you would like, so that the message goes further. So I think that's really important, Arlene, as a follow-up. And I'm sort of thinking that at the moment, the listserv might work.
I just want to add is, like, everyone should be encouraged to share the listserv outside of this group. So if you know colleagues or, you know, partners that you think would be interested in the topic, encourage them to join, because obviously not everyone can make it today.
Absolutely, Jennifer. I think that's a very important point. I was going to suggest that when we started this, talking about this event, there was a discussion about speakers and so on, and having presentations. But I wonder, given the success of today, whether we couldn't think about, under the auspices of the interest group at GSA, run one or two workshops like this, but where we can share our research a little bit. I just wonder what mood there might be amongst this group for doing that. So we can organise more get-togethers like this, because I've really enjoyed it and I think it's worked well. So I just wonder what people's appetite might be for something more like this, and just to keep us connected in different ways. So does anybody have any?
Yeah,
Is there any enthusiasm for that sort of idea? Sorry, Louise.
I think that's a great idea. Just because I think there is one thing reading at each other's articles and papers and outputs, but I think what's missing is that context of the different country situations and the different dynamics that are going on wider than the research as well, to understand the sort of policy implications and practice implications. So I think that'd be a really great idea, is to share the research that's going on in different countries and getting a bit of a kind of background to it as well.
I would love to have more discussions. I think it's a great way to network and also to brainstorm ideas. We've already started doing that in the breakout groups.
Yeah. So for Louise's sake, we might be able to do it at a more civilized time.
Well, I think it's Carol, it's 4 AM for her, so I think.
Oh my goodness. That's why James was going to have breakfast.
I look. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut across people. Then I'd be really happy to work on this, and we've had a good practice today, and we can improve upon that for next time. So Josephine, Anne-Marie, and colleagues, we can have a discussion about that and start a discussion on the listserv about what we might do. Yeah. So that's fantastic. Any other? I'm conscious of the time. I'm keeping an eye on my clock. Were there any other things, any ideas that were sparked by today from anyone? I can see there's quite a lot in the chat, which I've not been looking at. Has anybody else been monitoring the chat?
I can see a bit. One thing that I also wanted to bring up, is because I think, again, when in our breakout room, it was mentioned about trainees, and so new sort of masters and PhD students, postdocs who are coming into the field, again, having some sort of global group where there's some support, because as we were recognizing, often we're working quite, without a lot of other people in the field. So maybe having a networking support for trainees and early career researchers might be something we could consider. It's a possibility.
Yeah, I think it's a great idea. I'm looking at the chat now, and I can see general support for some of these ideas. So thank you everyone for contributing to the chat. We have a couple of minutes left. Is anything, while we've got everyone together, any other thoughts, ideas that anyone would wish to share? Okay, no?
Okay, I was just going to say the other thing I think Margaret mentioned about the CAG, I don't know, and there's also presentations at GSA. So I guess maybe another thing, if people are interested, is sharing opportunities for, where people are at conferences, to let others know, so that we can have get-togethers.
Yes.
That's a great idea, Arlene. Yeah,
that's great.
And just dumping them into the listserv would be great. Fantastic.
So dumping ideas for conferences and so on.
Yeah, just
rather than,
if
rather than promoting this
gone
group.
out.
We haven't got a name yet. I tend to promote groups and when I can.
And if you're presenting at CAG next week, like a lot of us, if you have abstracts or your presentation dates, you can post it there so everyone knows where to go.
Post in the listserv? I just went to the listserv and it said I can't get in.
Oh, you need to be accepted once Josephine will have to go to the meeting and bring everyone in.
Oh, okay.
Okay, you'll do that later.
I saw that too.
Okay. So post or abstracts. Okay, that's a good idea.
So you just send a note to now@listserv.wla.ca and put in the subscribe in the subject, and it will. So just
Yeah, I tried that too, and it bounced back.
It bounced back?
Now,
You might need to do a blank email. I tried that too.
Okay. I will see what's going on. Thanks for that feedback.
Thanks, Josephine. And look, I think from apart from the occasional technological glitch, I think this event has been a great success. And I think I'll begin to draw things to a close now by, I think it's great to see so many people. It's great to connect with you all, and particularly at this time when it's certainly in Australia, our borders are still closed, and we're not able to travel. I would be planning to travel to the UK and to the US for GSA normally. So I've not had that opportunity now for 2 years. So it's great to get my fix by meeting colleagues globally. Thank you very much. Thank you to GSA for hosting this meeting. Thank you, Gina, if you're still there. It's fantastic that GSA has been so supportive of this. And should we do this again, I'm sure we'll be able to run this under the auspices of GSA. Here's some contact details for you, for Josephine, Anne-Marie and colleagues, and for myself and James. And I look forward to developing the collaboration with you all. It's been great to interact with you and meet you. So you have, those of you down here, have a great day. And those of you up there, have a fantastic evening. Nice to see you all.
Thank you so much for organizing.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I will.
Bye.
Thank you, Philip.
Great to meet you all.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Okay, leave meeting. That's weird.
Anne-Marie?
Yeah.
Do you just want to send me a link and we can have a quick catch up, maybe with Josephine?
Yeah, I'll grab everyone in. I'll send a link out to everyone and we can.
Thanks. And maybe Arlene, if you'd like to join.
Oh, yeah.
James?
Okay.
Should we just have a quick 10-minute?
Yep.
I'm gonna go
On this link or somewhere else?
I'll send a new one out to everyone. Give me a quick second.
Okay.
Okay, see you soon.